Hello there, I'm Kevin Ragland. I figured in this video I'd show you how I shade eyes. It's something I've gotten complimented on a lot, and it's fairly simple. I'm using IbisPaint for this, but I'm pretty sure this can be used in most drawing apps because it's just using the airbrush pen for the most part. I'm sorry my voice sounds a little weird. I'm just getting over like a sickness. But anyway, this is my character Monkey's eye. If you'd like to see my comics, there's clickies in the description. But anyway, I like to start with like a flat color for like a flat circle for her iris, and then like a flat color for the eye itself, and then like a circle for the pupil. The iris itself is this color. If you'd like to copy that, if you'd like to also do red eyes and follow along with me, I like to start with like a darker red so it's easier to highlight. And then this is the color I use for the eye. It's more of like a bluish white, because I've noticed that most eyes tend to be like kind of bluish, and depending on the lighting. By the way, don't make fun of me for my color palette. I know that my color palette's insane. Stop. Anyway, we're going to start with black. As you can see here, I have like the different layers, the outline and the pupil and the iris and the just the base eye color all on different layers, so they're easier to shade. And I have them like caps lock or alpha locked so that the shading I use doesn't go outside of the color. And that makes it to where you can make things look a lot more 3D, a lot easier. So we're going to start with the white color of the eye. And we're going to use black. And we're just going to like shade like this underneath where the eyelids would be. Like so. And just doing it to where it's just like visible enough but not overbearing. I guess it really just depends on the lighting. I'm going to go over it a little bit with the base white color again, the bluish white, so it's not like completely all over the place. And then we're going to move on to the red part, and I'm going to start with black again. So what I like to do is I like to start by doing the outer part of the circle like this, give it kind of like a slightly darker outline. And then I like to go over the top like this. How dark you go with this really just depends on the color of the eye and how dark the lighting is. And like I guess also how open their eye is, because like depending on how open someone's eye is, obviously they get more lighting or less lighting, whatever. Is why it's always good to use references. And then this next part is just solely based on where the light is coming from, because if you'll pay close attention to pictures of eyes, you'll notice that like the iris part tends to dip in like a bowl, and so like the part where the light's coming from, like if we're saying the light is coming from this side over here, this part would be dark like this. So that's how I usually do it. And so this part would be dark like that. And then the part over here, then we're going to use a lighter red. This is the red I use. We're going to use a lighter red to kind of make highlights over here like this, to make it look like that's where the light's going. And then we're going to move over on top of the pupil, and we're going to get a white. This is just the standard white. And we're going to do a highlight on top of the pupil like this. And then a little tiny bit over here. And that's usually how I color eyes. It's fairly simple. Obviously you can go darker with the shading. It really just depends on the scene, the lighting and stuff, but it's fairly simple and it gets the job done and looks really good in the long run. I also have my character Morgan's eye here too that we can use, which hers is blue, so the shading will be slightly different. So hers, I start with this color, which is like a slightly darker blue, but at the same time it's still light blue. And I'm going to shade it with hers, I'm going to shade it with a dark blue, this blue right here. And we're going to start with the eye there. So we're going to start with the eye. We're going to do basically the same thing with her eye that we did with Monkey's eye. Once again, these are my characters from Regeneration Girl, my comic. If you would like to read it, there are going to be links in the description, or clickies. I like to say clickies. Anyway, so we do that. We shade under the irises, or not. We shade under the eyelashes, and then depending on how much shading you want, you can go back over and kind of blend it with the regular eye color. And then we're going to use dark blue to shade her eyes. Since her eyes are like a lighter color, black would look kind of weird depending on the lighting. So with hers, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go over the perimeter like this to give it kind of an outline. And then I'm going to go over the top like that. And just like before, like you gotta know where the light's coming from and how their eye would be dipping. Like just looking at it like a bowl from an angle, I guess. So let's say from over here. And I'm not making it as dark because she has like lighter color eyes. And with her, the shading in her, or the highlights in her eyes, I would just use white. So I go over like this. And then we're going to go over the pupil. And we're going to highlight like this, where the light would be coming from. And we can give it a little tiny bit extra there if you want to. And that's how I color lighter blue eyes. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful. That, like I said, this was all in IbisPaint, but I'm sure that this can be done in like any app. This is the brush I used. It's Airbrush Normal. My opacity, oh, I meant to say this at the beginning, but my opacity is usually 30%, as you can see. And my thickness really just varies on what I'm shading. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. There'll be like clickies in the description if you would like to like support me anywhere or read my comics or whatever. And I'll have more videos like this soon. So yeah, have a good day.